All right, welcome in everybody. It is Wednesday night. Daniel,
Yeah, yeah.
300 guests. 300. Are you not entertained?
Uh, See, I knew it. I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it. You said you couldn't do it off the rip, and you found
I
a way.
I
I'm
found a
proud of you.
way, but I have to tell you, man, I was looking back at it, and so the 100th guest we had was Dylan Cruz. The 200th guest we had was Dylan, I was supposed to say it again. God, Dylan's so good, I almost said it again. Paul Skeens. But
Uh,
man,
I've never
now
heard of either one of them.
Now we're breaking the rules, and our guests may or may not be aware of this, but we always had a rule that said no Florida, no Vandy. On the hot corner, we broke the rule with Florida. We had Colby Shelton, but this really started, and Ryan needs to know this. Colby came on, and then Charlie Condon said to me, "Hey man, if you're truly going to grow the game, you got to go around these rules. You got to have somebody from everybody." And then Drew Beam said the same thing. And so kind of funny, you're talking about rivals of Vandy. And so here we are. We're going to do Vandy on the 300th guest. Ryan Ginther, how you doing tonight?
Good. How you guys doing tonight?
Man, blessed. The reason why we don't like Vandy is a good reason for you. Like, they're just good, right? Like, we're
Right.
haters naturally. Always been in the way, of the guests that we root for. So, it's not even personal. It's just, I mean, y'all win a lot.
Yeah, it's completely understandable. We get that a lot, so no hate. I understand.
No doubt, no doubt. But you are from, the state of Tennessee, so we're gonna get into that. And so a lot in common, but let's start by breaking the ice. I did not get to, see you when you were at LSU, didn't get a chance to pitch. And even if I did, obviously visitors don't get walk-up song. So it left me curious. I didn't even look it up. I just wanted to outright ask you, what's your walk-up song?
Yeah, it's by Don Tolliver. Actually, my roommate is a huge Don Tolliver fan, so he picked it for me. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know the name of the song, but it's just one of those songs that as soon as it starts playing, everybody starts bobbing their head and stuff. So it's probably a team favorite, to be honest with you. I forgot the name of it though. I don't know why.
That's all that really matters is that everybody's feeling it and vibing off of it. You know, I was watching a video with MLB guys talking about it, and it's very simple. If it works, they'll keep using it. If it doesn't, you go on to the new one, right? And so if it's working for you, no reason to change it.
Yeah, mine last year was too slow. It was Yellow Ledbetter. So I just
Uh,
like, you know what, I'm gonna let him pick the song and everybody loves it. So I'm gonna
yeah,
roll with
that is an interesting choice that you went with last year. I will tell you this, since I brought up Dylan Cruz, I messaged Daniel, being from Memphis, go to the University of Memphis games on the midweek when I'm not traveling on the weekend. And this kid, I'm not even gonna throw his name out there. He didn't do anything wrong, but he comes out to the same walk-up song Dylan Cruz had for 3 years. And they were trying to hype it, and the crowd was clapping. And I texted him, I was like, no, 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 retire the song for anyone. Like, it just don't work.
it. Yes, sir. Yeah.
You can't
So
retire a song. Who are
yes, you
you?
can when somebody that good, like it's just not right when somebody else comes through with it. They're not gonna meet expectations, Daniel.
Yeah, we
I
heard
mean,
Tommy White's walk-up song yesterday, and it wasn't the same, vibe, same kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, the thing about Tommy White's was being that I go all over. Tommy White's was Justin Bench from Ole Miss, national champion first. So he actually got the Desperado. I think is probably pretty popular. Whereas Dylan's was a song that I didn't even know the name of. Probably similar to what you got going on now, right? It fit right. It was good crowd energy, and so those are the good songs, right? Not the ones that maybe people don't know, but it gets you energetic. Like the Mets closer. You may know the song, but I just know it like when he comes in, the lights go to it. It's absolutely
do,
electric.
do, do, do,
Yeah,
do, 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 do.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Like nobody even has to know the name of it. It's just has to fit.
yes, sir. Yeah.
So speaking of, musicians you do know, if you could go see any musician and you could pick where you see them, who would you go see? Where would you go see them?
Yeah, so it's probably he's a Tennessee fan, but I'd probably say Morgan Wallen. I just
Oh
his music.
God. 9 out of every 10 answers, Ryan. We need some variety.
I mean, he's a
Give me
Tennessee
somebody
guy.
different. I need somebody
Tennessee
different, Ryan.
guy. It's just I don't know. I mean, I just like guys that are from the state and obviously he's not a Vanderbilt fan, but from him being, I mean, him from being in Tennessee. It's just kind of one of those. I like country too, so
Ryan, I need to talk to him and tell him just, I mean, he probably knows how, awesome he is, but I'm gonna look, man. We have a sports podcast and literally male, female, doesn't matter what sport, they all say you do. Like, if you need some solidification that you got it going on, like everybody says you. Like Daniel's nauseated by the answer at this point because just needs something different.
Yeah.
yeah, kind of figured he'd be everybody's favorite.
It's
Good.
all right. We'll move to athlete or team. If you could see any athlete or you could go see any team right now, who are you going to see? Where are you going to see them?
Yeah, so I'd probably say Scotty Scheffler. I'm a huge golf guy. It'd probably be him or Tiger Woods. Anybody who's made an impact on the game of golf, I think I'd probably watch.
And you'd have
Man,
went to the Masters, I assume, right?
it'd probably be at the Masters. Yeah, I've got tickets to the PGA Championship this year. So maybe if we don't have anything, I have tickets for a Sunday. We play our last game against Tucky on a Saturday. So if we don't have a lift or anything, I might go up to there and hopefully Scotty's playing in that.
Ryan's gonna be doing the Scotty shuffle.
Yeah, that would if I could hit the ball as well as him, I would be really happy, but that's never
Well,
gonna happen.
I don't think you watch golf without playing golf. So I assume you probably get out there and swing the clubs yourself, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, we have a membership at a country club back home, so I try to get out there as much as I can.
We need to get you and Justin Lower from LSU. We had him on. He comes from a golf family, and he said he's somewhere around 80. You in that range?
Uh, I'd like to say I'm low 80s, but I typically shoot like upper 80s.
That's all right. It only fits. Relieving pitchers from SEC teams. We'll get it together a little fun scramble. Me and Daniel will do the wagers on the side, some illegal stuff, and we'll ride around and watch y'all because we aren't good.
We'll just play best ball. Then I don't have to worry about it because like if I luck up and get best ball, then cool. But 99% of the time, we're gonna be hitting somebody else's ball.
I'm just looking for that one good shot of the day, Daniel, since I'm so bad. At some point, just statistically, I gotta have one that falls.
I don't know. Golf is a little bit different, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes you got it, sometimes you don't. Most of the time, you don't. So Ryan, dude, it's like Jim was saying, we nothing personal. We just, there's a lot of whistling that goes on at Vanderbilt that I just can't take, man. So it rubs me the wrong way. And, you know, I say this all the time when Tim Corbin's name comes up is robot. I feel like you guys, everyone on the team is very like if you were to pull back a little bit of skin, you would see just metal. Like everybody is robotic. And that's a compliment because everything is very uniform, very structured. This is how Vanderbilt plays baseball. And like it's a system, it's a philosophy, it's a culture, like it's all things that Coach Corbin has instilled, and he gets the right guys that will carry out that structure. So, prior to all that, so let's build up to how you got there. So tell me a little bit about your hometown and where you grew up.
Yeah, so I grew up in Hendersonville, Tennessee. Actually with a guy that plays at Wake Forest now. We actually went to high school, Chase Burns. So, um,
I heard, all right. He's pretty good.
yeah, he's pretty good. Yeah, he was. If you would have said that like 6 years ago, you'd be probably the only person saying that. But he's really good now. He had a huge growth spurt in high school, and I mean, like his sophomore year of high school was like throwing like 82. I was like, this guy needs to stick to basketball, but you would never say that now.
No, not
But
now for sure.
yeah, but grew up in Hendersonville, always played baseball. Went to Station Camp High School with Chase and a couple other guys that are playing collegiately. So
Nice.
good upbringing.
So pretty good competition out that way. Is tell me about your family. Is it mom, dad, brothers, sisters?
Yeah, so I got mom, dad, obviously. I have a stepdad, and then I've got two stepsisters, a little sister, and a little brother. So pretty big family.
Pretty big family. What's it like? I mean, is it everyone's pretty cordial? Like you split time, everybody gets along, or is it kind of like, um, it's it's cool, but there's some division there.
It's actually a really good dynamic. my parents travel together. Stepdad, dad, mom, all the kids get, together really well. I mean, when my dad actually moved to Nashville, because I grew up in Collierville, so outside of Memphis. When my dad moved to Nashville, he lived with my stepdad and my mom for like 6 months at our house. So ever since, I can remember my stepdad and mom being together. I mean, it's been
I
great.
mean, if you want to take notes on how to make blended families work, that's how you do it.
Yeah, it's
So,
all. I've
I
been
mean, that's
very.
that's a that's impressive, man, because there's a lot of people, regardless of the situation, like that would be a tough ask to have, the significant other or the former significant other move in. So, I mean, that's
And I'll
that's
say this,
crazy.
Daniel, on a side note, since I didn't know Collierville, I was working in Collierville today just to give him an idea. Me and you are literally from right there.
You know,
Really.
Bartlett, Tennessee,
Bartlett, Tennessee. Yes,
right
sir. Yeah.
down right down the road, man.
Yes, sir.
Um, so tell me, obviously, big family, got a lot going on. What was your biggest influence on getting into sports? Was it everyone else was doing it, brothers and sisters? Was it a push from mom or dad, or you just saw it on TV or started playing it as a kid and you're like, I love sports?
Honestly, my parents have been really hands off with that. They've kind of let me do what I want. I've actually really respected that now. I've kind of gotten older, but I think it was my uncle. My uncle is a high school football coach, and my cousin's the same age as me. So when we were, goodness, 2 or 3, he was putting like little play pads on us and football helmets on and having us bang each other's heads against the wall. So I think that's kind of where I started falling in love with sports. Baseball, I guess it was kind of my dad. He just did a little like dad or T-ball with dad or whatever at the YMCA. So that's where I kind of got into it. And I think it's just been ever since I was little and started doing that. I just love the competitive aspect of it. I mean, I think that's kind of what's kept me in it this long.
What sports did you play as a kid? Just baseball or multiple sports?
No, I played baseball, football, soccer. I tried basketball. I wasn't very good at it. And I started picking up golf probably the beginning of high school. So I played a pretty wide variety of sports.
What high school?
Station Camp High School.
Station camp. So for people who don't know, let me lay it out for you. Ryan's stat line here: fifth best overall prospect in the state of Tennessee, and that's according to Perfect Game. It's not all these jabroni Joe Blow sites out there. It's Perfect Game, the one that matters. Um, Top ranked left-handed pitcher. You were rated 13th best left-hander nationally. 2020 Perfect Game All-American Classic participant. 2019 Perfect Game preseason underclassman All-American. Perfect Game top 100. Um, Received All State First Team honors as a sophomore in 2019. You were named the District Player of the Year that year as well. Helped lead Station Camp to a district championship in 2019. So clearly a high level of success of high school. But, with that, I'm sure there was some travel ball mixed in there with it. So who did you play travel ball for?
I played with Doolin, so they're out of Memphis. I actually originally started playing with Team Collierville when I was little, and then kind of transitioned to Doolin's when I was like 12 or 13 years old.
Why not
Nice.
Easley Baseball Club?
So one of the coaches for Doolin's was a good friend of my other coach on my other team, and he's like, "We need to have Ginther." And then I knew some of the guys on the team, so it's just kind of an easy transition.
No, I said that because one of our first guests was Ed Easley, and then I had Connor Griffin on Monday night, and he played one tournament with Ed, and Ed told me to ask him why because he didn't keep playing with him because he could have been better, even though he's the #1 rated high school player. And so it's kind of a running joke now. I'm just going to ask everybody from this area, why not Ed if they didn't?
There.
So, Ryan, between, travel ball and high school ball, when in that time frame did colleges start reaching out to you?
Yeah, so I was pretty fortunate. It was pretty early on. It was probably like the end of 8th grade. My summer ball coach was like, "Hey, there's a couple schools that, would like to talk to you, have interest in you." And that's kind of when the whole journey kind of began. Was pretty pretty early. But I kind of also made my decision to go to Vanderbilt pretty early. I committed when I was a freshman, so it was kind of Vanderbilt was kind of the school from the get-go, to be honest with you.
So outside of that, just kind of being the school, did you take a visit to Vanderbilt? Did you meet the people? Did you go like what else was it where you were like, this is the place that I gotta go?
Yeah, so when we moved to Nashville when I was in sixth grade. So obviously being from around here, Vanderbilt's, got such a prestigious name and stuff like that. The education was huge for me. Growing up, my parents were really big on, going to school, all this stuff. So I think that was a huge factor. And then I fell in love with Coach Brown, Corbs, and just the way that Vanderbilt was structured. It was structured very similarly to organizations I grew up playing for. So it kind of was really a comfortable move for me to kind of, decide to go here.
Yeah, so when you're getting recruited to Vandy, even though it's very early for you and you talk about it being in the area, but at the time, you got Lighter and you got Rocker on top of just the Vandy name, and this is pre-NIL and everything that comes along with it, right? Vandy has other opportunities that most don't on top of the education. So did it make it just that much easier when you see the names and you understand everything that comes with playing for Vandy?
Yeah, obviously, so the head coach that for Doolin, his son played at Vanderbilt too. So I kind of had a little bit of extra knowledge before making my decision. But I think just the way he talked about how the program taught him to be a better person, and stuff like that. And then obviously from a baseball perspective, when you see names like Sonny Gray, Jack Leiter, I mean, et cetera, it's kind of for me, it was a no-brainer to go to a program like that.
Yeah, so we haven't had a Vandy player on, but we have had two transfers. We had Hayden Leatherwood, who ended up at Ole Miss, and then we had Gavin Casas, who ended up at South Carolina. And both of them talked about, you talked about the education. Academically, it's one of those things that, people need to understand. Nothing's going to be handed to you at Vandy. So when you got there, academically, just how challenging was it?
Yeah, so my junior and senior year, or half my junior year was on COVID, so I didn't go to school. And then my senior year, I chose to actually be online. So I didn't go to school for a year and a half before getting here. So it was a huge transition at first, but there's a lot of resources. We've got a great academic advisor. So after about 2, 3 months, it was becoming more of a smoother transition, but the first couple months were pretty tough. You know,
Yeah,
it's a
and
hard.
I mean that's what you were looking for, right? And that's what I like about it. Like the reports back are it's not something that's, just a myth, right? Like out there, if you're gonna go to Vandy, you're gonna get that true top-notch education. Nobody's gonna give you anything because you're a talented baseball player.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean that's one of Corb's biggest thing is making sure we're in class present and actually doing what we're asked of. I mean, the professors here don't care if you're a college athlete. I mean, they're some of the best professors, in the country. So they're doing their job. They don't care if you're a baseball player, football player, best player in the country or whatever. I mean, they could care less about that. So it's a true academic experience here.
Yeah, no doubt. So, onto the field, the first season you only get 5 1/3 innings, but you do it very successfully. You get 10 strikeouts. You do a scoreless inning with 2 strikeouts against, Arkansas. Let's start there, right? Because I mean, Arkansas powerhouse program. How good did it feel at Arkansas to go out there and have success as a freshman?
Yeah, so my freshman year I was pretty banged up. I had a groin issue for most of the year, so it was kind of kept me on the sideline for the most part. But getting into Arkansas, it was different. It was definitely a game changer in terms of like getting my mental approach to how to pitch. I mean, I've never thrown in front of I think there's probably like 10,000 people there. So I've
Right. And I was there just a couple of weeks ago with LSU. They definitely don't take it easy on you. So I know what you were up
Oh, they
against.
don't. Yeah, but it was fun. I mean, it really showed me that I could compete on this level. And, I think it was a huge sigh of relief to get into an environment like that at an early age. So it was cool.
Yeah, and the other experience I want to talk about, your first game, your first appearance. was at Hawaii. What an opportunity, not just from a baseball perspective, but, traveling to Hawaii, being in the moment. Just how cool was that overall experience, not just the game itself, but being in Hawaii as a whole?
Yeah, I think that was probably one of the more exciting trips I think I've ever had in my life. We were there for about a week, so we got to kind of enjoy. We stayed on the beach too, which was super nice. So we kind of got to enjoy all the island had to offer. And then Hawaii's baseball fan base is actually really good. Because they don't have professional sport there. So their main focus is college athletics. And that place was packed. I mean, that's probably the most nervous I've ever been pitching because their stadium's really tall. So I was looking straight up and I was like, oh my goodness. So that experience was really, really cool. That's a cool place.
We had a couple of their guys on this year when we talk about the whole grow the game and learning from their schedule. Yeah, they don't schedule when it's out of conference. Like this year they had Ole Miss and NC State to start with. It's no different than when y'all came there. They have big time teams come there, and I think that's cool because both benefit from it, right? Hawaii gains from playing top notch talent. Y'all benefit going to Hawaii, right? So like. And I realize they kind of get a true home field advantage, not talking about the stadium, but y'all got to do the jet lag thing, right? Like that's a real thing. And so it's an interesting dynamic, kind of gives you a pro feel really, and what the pro athletes deal with on a regular basis. But I will ask you, that first year, I mentioned the elite names that came before you with Leiter and Rocker, and they did go to Omaha and make it to the championship the year before. Was there any kind of, you talked about injury, but was there any kind of pressure when you come behind guys like that playing in a program like that? Or is it one of those things that actually boost you and say, I'm at the place I need to be?
Yeah, I mean, I think Vanderbilt has, I think once you get in this program, you understand what Vanderbilt means. And, for some people, it might be a lot. And I mean, freshmen at first, it is a lot. Um, but you really don't think about it once you're here. You just get immersed with your teammates and, the team you're on. And you really don't focus on, what's been here and the guys that have done stuff here. So at first, it's a weird transition. But I mean, once you're kind of established within the program, you're not really focusing on that, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So coming into the next season, not injured anymore because you made the second most appearances on the team. Struck out 5 and didn't allow an earned run over 4 innings in a start against Arkansas. So I got to go right back there. Like, you clearly, a team that is top caliber. You have no fear when it comes to Arkansas. What's that about?
Yeah. So a little backstory. I didn't start at all last year. I was kind of just like a, reliever. And I get a text from Brownie at like 10:30 at night as I'm putting my phone up. All he said is, "You're starting tomorrow." I was like, "Oh, great." So it was cool though. I mean, when you're pitching, like I try not to look at the team, you know what I mean? It's just you're competing against a hitter. So I think that's kind of been my mindset since I've gotten to college. It's just kind of like worry about the hitter. I mean, there's guys on any team, LSU, Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, like there's guys that can beat you. So I think taking the name off the front of their jersey is probably the biggest thing that I've learned in being in college, to be honest with you.
Daniel, we have been doing this for 4 years now. I just mentioned how many guests. He is the first pitcher that has said that answer. I mean, as a former pitcher yourself and a pitching coach, just how much, maturity valuable does that say when he says eliminate the name off the front of the jersey?
Yeah, I mean, you got to eliminate all the names off of all jerseys to a degree because really as a pitcher, it's little to do with the guy in the box. It has a lot to do with the guy that you're throwing the baseball to. So if you locate well and you throw where you need to throw, chances are you're going to have a high level of success. Now, yeah, the ball's going to get hit every now and then because it's baseball and there's intangibles and people are swinging bats and they're going to run into baseballs and get lucky at times. But yeah, if you can do those things and not worry about those big picture items, yeah, you can be very successful. But it does take, like you said, a level of maturity that, it's almost really hard as a freshman to come in to understand that unless you're ingrained in a culture that's already doing that. And that's the beauty of Vanderbilt. you come in and that's culture's already there.
And I mean, you say that, I think about it. It hasn't been said before, right? But he is our first Vandy guest, so like you said, that may be something that when you come up in a program like that. But next, I want to talk about you had 4 scoreless frames in a 17 inning game against Evansville. You know, Ryan, I got to be a fan of the team. I can't just be a casual guy watching a game on a whatever night, like 17 innings. I got to be fully invested. Just what's it like pitching in a game that's that long?
It's stressful first off because I threw I think all the 4 innings I threw in extra innings, so I was pretty stressed out.
It's
But
stressful when you're taking a nap and then they just wake you up and you're in a
oh
slumber
yeah,
and you
for
got to go
sure.
in.
Yeah, I mean when you're sitting for 9 innings and like Ginther next inning and you're sitting there on your thumb, it's kind of hard to get yourself in that
You're like,
mindset pitch. But
yeah, coach, I'll get hot. No worries.
yeah,
I'm good.
exactly. It's
I'm
like,
good.
but it's cool. It was late, so it was probably like 150 people in the stands. But I mean, once I get on the mound, it doesn't matter. To me, honestly, it's the same again mentality. Is just competing. I don't want to lose, so it doesn't matter if it's the 20th inning. I just want to, go out there and get guys out.
Well, the cool thing about that game and then the next game I'll bring up, you talk about 17 innings. Obviously, it's a combined effort. You only did 4 of those 17. The next one, you're in a combined no-hitter at Minnesota. We sit here and talk about the culture. We sit here and talk about a team. How cool is it to share that moment with the other pitchers to have that combined no-hitter?
Yeah, that was sick. I actually just packed it away because we're about to move out of the place we're living in right now. But I have a ball sitting on my desk that is signed by, everybody that was a participant in that game. So it's a big deal, getting to do something with guys that you really love, that isn't really done a whole lot. So that was probably one of the most special things I feel like I've done in this program, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm not going to harp on it too much. I'm going to get into this season, but, y'all did get upset at home by Oregon. So basically the question I want to ask is, what is the message, for you guys coming back? What is Coach Corbin saying to you? Obviously you are hungry and motivated, and that's a loss that y'all are not going to take lightly. So what happened? What's the message?
Yeah, honestly, he's really big on staying present. I really think, his biggest message to us is just the next game. To be honest with you, we never really talk about regional, super regionals, Omaha. It's on tomorrow, right? So, like for example, we played Florida tomorrow, so that's his objective, and I think that mindset keeps us centered. Um, so we really don't talk about postseason baseball a whole lot here, to be honest with you.
So for you personally, though, I mean, did it leave you, with a bitter taste in your mouth, hungry to get back into this season, knowing y'all had a lot more left in the tank, and it's not something you felt like, y'all were the lesser team, especially at home?
Yeah, obviously it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. I was pretty upset after that, but it's part of competition. We win, we lose. So uh honestly, same approach as going in last year. Just keep getting better and just stay consistent. Be honest with you. I try to keep the intangibles out of my routine and out of my daily you know, daily process.
Well, you talk about getting better. You can't really be much better than you have been this year. 13 and 2/3 innings, 0.66 ERA, 1-0 with 4 saves. So a ton of success. Would you attribute this, just to simple experience and hard work, or has there been any kind of change? How have you been able to be so successful to start this season?
Yeah, I think I just go up there and try to throw strikes. That's kind of been my philosophy since I've been like 12. That's really it, to be honest with you. We've got such a great team behind me. I just really feel like if I go out there and throw strikes, if they hit the ball or if, I strike them out, I feel like there's a good chance that they could get out with the
Ryan,
guy.
you've made it so simple for all the kids. Eliminate the jersey name, throw strikes. If it goes bad, don't even worry about it. Focus on the next game. Hey, you make what's funny is it's the truth, right? Your answers are true, but it's easier said than done, right? Across the board on all that.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So you're winning the mental battle, and that would be the lesson I would say, for anybody listening is how much this game is mentally, because you're basically saying all the things to keep your mind, like you said, present, future, not focusing on the negative, focus on what you need to do is all the right answers.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I just try to have fun with it. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm blessed to be able to play this game at 21 years of age. So I really can't complain. I mean, I go to a great school. I've got a great family. I have great teammates, and you know, I feel like a lot of times guys my age put a lot of stress on themselves because they need to be somebody that these outside sources think they need to be. And it just affects their you know physical capabilities on the field and their mental capabilities. So I kind of just try to go out there and throw strikes and have fun, to be honest with you.
I mean, I bet baseball is the easiest part. When you go to Vanderbilt, baseball is the easiest part of Ryan's day.
It is, yeah. I mean, it's the one time you get to really enjoy yourself, and school's hard. So I mean, it really is taking the stress off when you walk in those doors of the facility every day.
Yeah, and maybe that's a lot of reasons for the success. I want to ask you about a few different players. I wanted to start. I was there for the fall exhibitions against Wake Forest, and right now Nick Kurtz coming back from injury is on the most biggest absolute tear I've ever seen. 12 home runs in 8 games. You got to see him in person. He actually hit a home run in the very first AB of that. Just when you see a guy like that, obviously you're a pitcher, but what is your thought process when a dude's just, I mean, in the zone like that?
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. It's the same. I mean, he's just a hitter at the end of the day. Like anybody can beat you when you're pitching. Obviously, when you're not throwing, you admire it and you respect how well he's done. But when you're on the mound, like I'm trying to get you out, regardless if you're the 9 hole, the 1 hole, the first overall pick in the draft, guy that's not going to play college or professional baseball. I think to me, it's all the same, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So sticking to the same team, I do want to ask you because you mentioned it wasn't on my notes, but because you grew up with him, you play with him, how impressed have you been with Chase Burns and just obviously he was electric at Tennessee, but right now his strikeout to walk ratio is just absolutely insane. Striking out on average 13 to 15 guys a game. Just how impressed have you been with his stuff?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. He's got such a great work ethic, and he's just such a great guy. I mean, it doesn't surprise me at all. He works his butt off to be where he's at. So uh, it, he deserves all that happens to him. Seriously, he's a great person.
Yeah. So getting back to the team and really the last couple questions I got for you. Team is 27-10, coming off the sweep by A&M. You kind of answered part of it in regards to focusing on Florida, but I do got to know you are playing a rival team in Florida. They're coming off a sweep themselves to a much lesser, Missouri team. So obviously both teams feeling pressure, just how big is it for, either team really, when you talk about the SEC East standings and just, I would say it's the hardest, obviously we know the SEC is the hardest in general, but the East I think is better than the West this year. So literally playing in the hardest, area to be playing in, and every weekend series matters. So just how big is this weekend, for both teams?
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime we get to play an SEC team, it's huge. I think for us, it's gonna be big tomorrow to go out there and just find a groove. I think that's the biggest thing, especially coming off a tough week at A&M. I think coming out early and just attacking the ball offensively and defensively is a huge thing. And I obviously would imagine Florida's approach is very similar. So I think it's gonna be a good weekend. A lot of competitive baseball, hopefully.
Well, we still kind of feel how we feel about Florida more than Vandy. So go ahead and take care of business. Like we may have had Colby Shelton on, but I still don't like Florida. I'm gonna be honest with you, Ryan. So y'all go ahead and get a sweep, and I won't, lose any sleep about it.
Yes,
Look,
sir.
look, Ryan, all you gotta do is throw strikes.
Yeah.
Those strikes. Forget
That's
the
it.
name.
Yeah.
There,
Baglione, who is that?
yeah.
I mean, I
513
did
foot
just see
bomb.
him hit one 500 feet.
That is pretty impressive, but
Yeah.
I'll admire when I'm not on the mound, but when
I'll tell you what I don't believe, Ryan. I'm not trying to be dismissive of Jack, but in recent interviews said he goes to the gym 12 hours a day. You're talking to two gym rats, and I'm going to tell you that's impossible.
yeah, he's a big kid though. He's a big guy. So
That's because he goes to Florida now. Vanderbilt prides himself on academics, so they don't have the time to go spend 12 hours in the gym.
He might have
But
spent 8 hours napping in there and worked out
but
before.
see, that's the next point I was going to get to. If you're spending 12 hours in the gym, I question the intensity that you're putting in because I mean, let's be real. Like, what are you doing? Playing? Are you?
I know I've worked out with you,
Is your
Daniel, and
is your
1 hour is
mission
enough.
is your mission to go sit on every machine in the gym? Then maybe. But all right, enough about Florida. We got to let you get out of here. But before we do, we got to play a game that we play with everybody. It's called This or That. You ready to play?
yes, sir.
All right, so it's simple. It's so easy that even someone on the Florida Gators could play this game. It's that easy. I give you two options. You choose one option or the other. Can't say both, can't say neither. Got to be decisive. Go with your heart, go with your gut. Pick the one that speaks to you.
Yes, sir.
Jim, this or that's brought to you by
Chinook Cedary, baby. 8 flavors, mild to wild. Ryan, you ever had a Chinook?
I have a couple of my
Let's
team has
go.
NIL deals with them. Great
All
seeds.
right. What's your favorite flavor?
Oh, they have a smoked barbecue, right?
That is actually what I was holding. Yes, sir.
Is it? Yep. Yeah, that's probably my favorite flavor.
That's Daniel's go-to right
That's
there. He's gonna give you a little tip. I'm gonna let him tell you.
look, man. If you want just fire, get you cinnamon toast and get smokehouse barbecue and get you an equal ratio of both and throw it in your mouth. I'm gonna tell you, like, it's magical.
Tell him
Combo.
the name. Tell him the name.
It's called smoke and toast. It's just it's magical. It
Try that.
is it'll blow your mind. It
Good.
will
I'm gonna
blow
try
your
that.
mind. Yeah, try it. So all right, let's get to it. First question out the gate. Would you rather grill out or go out to eat?
Go out to eat. I don't know how to cook at all, so
Oh
I'll leave it
man.
to somebody else.
What what's your spot? Where do you like to go if you're gonna
Oof.
go out to eat?
And we got a couple places. We like to go to Moe's a lot. Moe's or my favorite is probably Cava. Uh,
All
yeah, it's
right.
like a Mediterranean place. I like that place a lot.
All right. Would you rather have a nice house or a nice car?
Probably a nice house. I don't really care about cars as much as a house, I think. I'm living in it.
Yeah.
What's funny though, Ryan, the guests last night, they said you spend more time in your house than your car. And Daniel, I immediately debunked that in my life. I
Uh,
absolutely spend more time in my car than my house. But I told them my goal was to have nice both, and I do. So, but I definitely spend a lot of time in my car, and I have a nice car, so I'm not mad about it.
Yeah, I can't say anything. I have a pretty nice car too, but I would prefer the house over the car
definitely.
any day.
Definitely. Would you rather trip and fall in public or pass gas in public?
Uh, I'd probably rather trip and fall. I could blame it on something else. Like there's like a something wrong with the floor, maybe, or something. My shoes untied. I
Would
think it's
you,
less embarrassing.
if you tripped and fell and you're like gonna play it off, would you like look at the floor and be like, man, what happened?
Probably. I've done that before. I'm sometimes pretty clumsy, so I just play it. I act like something like was on the floor, like water or something. So
I don't
You
know.
just
I'm just
full
built.
sell it, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm just built different, Daniel. There was a little mini step coming out of the barber shop yesterday, and I almost didn't see it. I almost fell. And my immediate thought was this question. I was like, I'd have been so embarrassed. Like, I do not want to fall.
That's because so like you think people are gonna be judging you because you did something that probably most people have done before.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you right now, me and my wife went to dinner at Huey's and I absolutely ripped one going through there and I had no regard and I don't care.
That'd be way more embarrassing for me, I think.
I
I
mean,
mean, they
that's
couldn't hear it. There's music in there. It's whatever.
dang, that's how old are you?
39. When I turn
Dang,
40, maybe I'll grow up.
I doubt it. I doubt it. Black pinstripes or army uniforms?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I like the black pinstripes.
All right.
Are there,
Would you,
Daniel, let me ask you, I put that on there. Is Vandy probably, when you look at these uniform battles, right? Are they one of the more underrated kits? I mean, because they don't have a bad uniform across the board.
no, I mean, I
Because they're
think
not
they're,
talked about enough.
no, I think the black pinstripes are definitely like one of the better ones. I think as far as like different, like they're going to catch your eye. You're not going
Of
to
course,
see a lot of
military,
full
you know,
black
being veteran,
pinstripes.
I love the camo. I do like the black pins better though. I'm just a pinstripes guy, but I think both those are elite. And then you just can't their colors alone, right? You just can't go wrong with their colors in general.
Yeah, they're pretty like strong traditionally, the black, the gold, the white all together. It's just like I mean, it's you think like army, you think like to me like power. So, but would you rather throw fastball or off speed?
Uh, I'd say fastball. I like my fastball a lot, so I'd stick with that.
So what are we throwing here? What's the arsenal of pitches? You got two seam, four seam, cut fastball. What do we got?
Yeah, so I got a four seam, I got a cutter, slider, and a changeup. So the cutter's new this year, but I throw that a lot. So
Been working. See, I think a cutter is probably one of the easiest pitches to throw or to teach somebody to throw.
yeah,
Just because it's just easy to get on the side of the baseball. You don't have to do a whole lot with it. Like just holding it and throwing it, like it's going to do what it's supposed to do. Um, I think, if I was going to teach kids, I think I would prefer to teach a cut fastball over a slider just
uh,
in the beginning. Then as you want to progress and as you can add velocity, then you can start adding other pitches. But
You know, I got a
out,
question for both you gurus. You know, we were bringing up Chase Burns. They actually showed a clip of him yesterday. He was talking about his grips. He did change his grips when he went from Tennessee to, you know, Wake Forest. And I asked either of y'all, want to answer. I didn't pitch. So when you've thrown, he's basically 21 years old. When you've thrown it one way for so long, is it not weird to transition your grips at that point?
I mean, for me, I I think it comes down to personal preference, but I think a lot of guys, like Ryan, you probably do it. Like you guys are out there warming up, BSing out there in the outfield, throwing like you're throwing with different grips. You're working on you're trying different things. You're not like full torque and like trying to like hump up, but you're seeing what it feels like and trying to understand the mechanics that way. Like if it does feel good, like you will try it from the bump and see what happens. But I think that's how a lot of guys who changed grips, they either change grips because they lose it. Like when you have surgery, a lot of times you come back and rehab and it just doesn't feel the same as it did, breaking balls especially. Um, but yeah, I think you get out there, you start messing around, you go, oh man, I kind of like this. So then you start practicing it, working it. Then you got to talk to coach and be like, look, I'm telling you, like let me show you something, coach.
yeah, I throw a different grip every single day. Last year I got in trouble because I would change my slider grip like every other day. So you're right on that. Just toying with it.
YouTube is great, but it can also be, a troubling thing because you start going down these rabbit holes of mechanics, and there's a lot on there, and grips are one of the things that people talk about, and like there's a thousand ways and a thousand different people saying a lot of different things, and at the end of the day, you just got to do what Ryan says. Just throw
Yeah,
strikes. Just throw
exactly.
strikes.
Yeah, it's like I'd watch videos on YouTube how to throw a cutter, and all it took was moving my finger like one seam over from my four seam fastball, and it started cutting. So sometimes it's a lot less than you think.
Yeah. Sports radio or sports podcast?
Hmm. Probably podcasts. I actually started getting into podcasts over the summer a lot. Yeah, I don't really listen to the radio. I think
That's a
podcasts.
great answer, by the way. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like if you're an everyday consumer, um, I think you build your schedule around sports radio. Like, when I'm in the car going to work, I'm listening to this, or during this time of the day, I'm listening to that. But if you're someone who isn't like you're not fixated in the car or the vehicle, like a lot of your time is spent like in transition, then you might lean towards podcasts because you can listen to it at your leisure, whenever, at your pace, whenever you want to. Um, Justice League or the Avengers?
Um, I didn't grow up watching either of them, but my girlfriend's little sister likes the Avengers, so I've seen a couple Avengers movies, so I'm gonna have to go with the Avengers.
Daniel, last night, Stone says, "Who's in the Justice League?" And I can't even get to the next person after Batman. And when I say Batman, he says,
Oh
just
yeah, him.
I said that's why I eliminated the original question because it was Ryan, it was Batman or whoever. And because Batman always wins, I was trying to make it to where it was different, to where it was Justice League. And so at the end of the day, everybody just says Batman.
Yeah, I don't even think I've heard of the Justice League, to be honest with you. I've heard of Avengers, but had to
Well,
stick
I have
with
an 11-year-old son, and so it's a big deal around here.
All right. Would you rather play on Survivor or play on Big Brother?
I don't know what Big Brother is, so I'll probably stick with Survivor.
Big Brothers are, you know, a reality based game where you're in a household or a mock household with, I don't know, 20 other people, and there's an eviction every week. So one
It's
person gets
Survivor, but
voted
you
out.
can't. You're stuck in a house, not an island, and you cannot leave. You're stuck with these people. That's why it's such a hard game because you have to tolerate nonsense of people you don't have a choice on.
Yeah, I'm super organized, so I would hate being in a house with 20 different people. I would not like that.
Yeah, that would be absurd.
Yeah.
That would aggravate me. Um, Last
We
question,
we
we'll
only
let
asked that
you
question just to be
bounce.
clear. We have a guest on both, so that's why we did it. If you happen to check out Survivor at any point, Quintavious Burdett, former Ole Miss football and track star, he's also my realtor. Funny story, but anyway, he's on there right now, so that's the reason we just asked that question randomly.
Or is he on there right now?
So if you spoil this, I'll come right to Tampa right now.
I'm gonna tell you this. In If you are a Survivor fan and you're listening to this, you probably need to wait if you haven't seen Survivor. But Quintavious, sir, your gameplay is baffling to me. That's all I'm gonna say.
I thought you were fixing to say he got it. I was like, I got your Charlie Condon autograph ball right here. I was fixing to throw it to the dog.
Oh man, that's messed up. That's
Now only the
messed.
Charlie's fault, not you. You don't deserve it.
Oh, damn. That hurts my feelings.
That's your number one pick in Survivor. Speaking of, you know what? Let me ask Ryan that because he don't know nothing about it. Before you let him go and finish this game, Ryan, you don't even got to know the rules of the game. But we got college baseball Survivor. There was 32 guests that were in off the bench. We drafted. They're playing. Basically, the premise you need to know that what matters is whoever has the worst week this week is going to go home. Daniel, don't even worry about the idols and all that. If I told you the 8 remaining players were Luke Holman, Christian Moore, Dakota Jordan, Charlie Condon, Chase Burns, Ethan Leger, Ethan Petrie, and Blake Burke. Just give me a random pick. Who's winning it and who's going home this week?
Man, they're all good.
That's we didn't draft nobody bad. That's a fact.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gonna
I'll put it
stick.
to you this way: if you pick Charlie, there's nothing wrong with it because Ethan messaged me this week and said none of them have a chance because dude's not gonna stop.
Goodness, I'm gonna go with Holman.
Pitcher picking a pitcher. I like it.
And then who's gonna win this week?
Now who's
Man,
gonna go home? Pitcher
oh,
make it.
Holman's going home. I'm gonna pick Holman
Oh,
to go.
Holman's going home. Oh, no, I don't like it. That
Got
you
it.
just told me LSU's gonna
Got it.
lose.
Yeah. So, and
That
then
hurt my heart. Well, who's gonna win it all?
uh, see, I'm actually really good with or close with Dakota too, so it's kind of tough. I'll stick with Chase.
Solid. Well, now that you don't know the other stuff, Chase has an idol, so he's in a good position. Put it to you like that. So it's definitely interesting. We, like I said, there's four of us. We drafted 32 guys in total that were guests of the show. These are the final eight. They've survived statistically, the voting and everything, and it's a pretty cool prize pack. They get to design their own shoes from Duncan's Custom Kicks, $600 worth. Get $1,000 cash prize, trophy, shirt line, seed. So we made it worth, but also just all out bragging rights of beating 31 of your peers.
Yeah, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool concept, pretty cool game. It's defied all expectations I think that we had for it. So it's
Good.
pretty sweet. But last question, Ryan, before we let you go. If I came to you with a briefcase full of money and it had $10 million in it, and I said, Ryan, you can take this briefcase, walk away, no questions asked, or behind door number 2, you can have a national championship. 10 mil or a natty. What you picking?
I'd probably take the national championship. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity. Hopefully, I make that money with Vanderbilt education. So I would take the national championship all day, to be honest with you.
So this is the first time I will believe that, because you have a great degree backing it. But I think, a lot of people say national championship, but I think when put to the test, when rubber meets the road, if it was presented in front of you, it would be a lot harder.
So was
It would be a
Skeens lying
lot
when he came on
harder.
here and said he would give his 10 million back and keep his national championship?
I mean, probably not, but
As I say, Paul ain't a liar. If there's anything he ain't, I believe him. I believe Ryan too. But I'm gonna
yeah.
tell
Yeah,
you right now,
I feel
give
like
me
that's a
$10
once in a
million.
lifetime opportunity.
Uh,
I money can't pay for one of those, so I would take that all day, to be honest with you.
I mean, the main thing is it's what people don't realize. It's not the hardware. It's the grind that starts all the way back in the summer that you put in with your boys, and a whole year long process, and the culmination of winning that in Omaha, dog pile, everything that comes with it. Like you said, you can't put a price tag on that.
Yeah, it's the memories at the end of the day. It's not the ring or the trophy or telling your other buddies that don't play baseball like we won a national championship. It's just getting to have those memories with that team. I think that would be the biggest thing for me. Just the memories you
Just so you
make.
know, Ryan, Daniel, if you ever get the money and you don't get the championship, Daniel's willing to part ways with his for $100,000. That's his
100K.
price tag.
It's all yours. You can even have the box, the little clampy box that it comes in.
I think when push comes to shove, Daniel, if I offered you 50 cash right now, you'd take it.
I mean, if you brought if you brought a suitcase with cash for 50 grand, it would be a conversation for sure.
One day, one day.
It's it's a hard decision. I mean, you put forth a lot of effort, and we tell people this all the time, Ryan. Like, we're 40 years old, so it's a lot easier for us to say we need the money just because of where we are in life. Like, when I talk about having $10 million, that would change my life currently, it would change my kid's life, and just make life a little bit easier. But if you're in the grind of baseball and that's what you're working towards, it's hard to like put a price tag on the goal.
Yeah.
And it almost seems like if you do put a price tag on the goal, it's almost like cheating yourself if it's just kind of bought.
Yeah.
It's kind of
When we
like
talk about money
LSU
and
with
Vandy,
NIL.
when we talk about money and Vandy, I tell you what, when my daughter started getting those Vandy letters, I was like, no, it better be fully paid for. Don't come at me with that.
Better,
Yeah, I've got
better
some loans.
get a couple jobs.
Yeah, it's expensive school for sure. It's not cheap at all.
No. But like you said, it's really an investment. When you go there, you're investing in yourself and what you're going to get on the back end. So, but Ryan, man, anything you want to plug or promote before you get out of here?
No. Say hi, mom. Hi, dad. That's it.
Look at him. Hi, mom. Hi, dad. All right. How about this? Tell me, where are you guys playing? What time? Obviously, you got Florida.
Yes, sir.
Where you at?
We play at the Hawk tomorrow, so we're in Nashville. Play at 6:30. We play at 6 o'clock on Friday, and then 2 o'clock on Saturday, I believe. So should be a good week.
Big weekend, big bounce back weekend for you guys. And the great thing is you guys are playing phenomenally at home. So it's
It's on. Hey, they're nationally televised tomorrow and Friday. They're on ESPNU tomorrow, and then they get ESPN2
Oh,
on
buddy.
Friday.
Oh, buddy. Go get them. Well, for those of you that want to know a little bit more about Ryan, go to ryan.ginther on Instagram. Or if you want to know about Vanderbilt baseball, you want to see pitching rotations, you want to see hype videos, you want to see highlights, scores, all of the above at Vandy Boys. Ryan, wish you best of luck. Obviously, it goes without saying, please put it on the Florida Gators this weekend. Don't hold anything back. Throw a lot of strikes. Don't worry about the name on the uniform. Just do you.
Yes, sir. I will try that. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Obviously, we wish you happy, healthy, successful season. If there's anything we can do for you, please reach out to us, and we'd love to have you back on.
Yes, sir. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for having me on here.
Absolutely. That's Ryan Ginther, everybody. If you like hearing Ryan's story or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like and share the podcast on Facebook, retweet us on X, listen and subscribe wherever you stream your podcast or your media, wherever, because we're everywhere. As always, comments, ratings, feedback, thumbs up, hearts, hugs, love. We'll take it all. And we will see everybody next episode. We will be talking Memphis soccer with Sarah Hodge. And then we'll be talking Ole Miss baseball with Andrew Fisher. So big week next week. Look forward to seeing you. This has been the In Off the Bench podcast. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We are out.